Mr. Spencer, and it comes right up. Yeah, okay. I think everybody's on now, right?
Yeah, good.
614.
It must be me, Jason. David Welchel just joined you.
Okay. All right. Gotcha. Sue, we're waiting on, Susan's not on. I don't think I see her.
No, Susan's not on yet.
And Sheila.
Sheila's on.
Sheila's on?
Sheila is on.
I think Phil's trying to make me seasick or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Hold your camera still, Phil. You're killing us. I don't see Sheila.
Well, she's gone now. She popped off.
I know we changed time, so let me make. I know Susan got it. Let me call Susan real quick.
Susan's coming in right now.
Okay, there we go. Jan, I hope you're not driving and doing this. I hope you're sitting somewhere.
I know I'm sitting still.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
There's Susan.
Hi. I'll be right back, though. I'm going to close the door. Hold on.
Yep. All right. Once Susan comes back, we'll go ahead and.
I think Sheila's coming back in. Just a second.
All right, we'll go ahead and get started with our August meeting. No special announcements this month, so we will. Oh, yes, there is. Sorry, Gary Mertz he might join late if he gets done with what he's had another commitment today. But if not, I have his proxy. He sent that to me in an email. So on the votes, I will be voting for Gary and myself. With that, we'll go ahead and start off. I know a couple of you went ahead and did course reports. For those that did, if you want to do them real quick, then that's great. If not, we can skip on to Keith. I know Susan did yours. Phil, I think you did yours, Phil.
Yeah, I did mine.
If you want to just give a quick overview, then that would be great, and then we'll move on.
Mine? Let me find it real quick.
Susan, you got yours?
Yeah, I could just talk to mine. So, you know, overall things are going pretty well out at Dogwood. I was out there for about 2 hours the other day scoring. So it's clear that the staff is following all the procedures and have managed that. And most of the golfers are wearing their masks, although there are a few that do not and want to complain about it. But I was really happy to see that they had, you know, kind of workaround. So if somebody didn't have their mask, the staff person would take their credit card in or take their money or whatever. So they were following that procedure. The course is in absolutely beautiful condition. It's absolutely beautiful. Several comments, just unsolicited comments from the golfers about how great the course is. And so things are all good. It's busy, and Friends of Dogwood tournament is on Labor Day, September 7th. And so we're starting to get ready for that, and the staff is helping us with that.
Great. Thanks, Susan. That's good stuff. Yeah, I think every course is busy.
Susan?
Yes.
This is David. I was out at Dogwood this morning, and the 3 small trees that were planted up between the clubhouse and the cart barn in the gravel, they appear to be suffering from severe moisture stress.
They are. Our beautification team is well aware of it. They've been talking with the nursery about it, and they're looking at ways to get more moisture deeper into the roots there, because they water them all the time, but apparently the water isn't getting deep enough. So they're working on that.
Or they're drowning.
That could be too, but
Okay. You never know until you dig them up.
yeah, I think it'll be, we'll kind of get through this year, and next year they'll probably find their home and it'll be okay.
Let's hope. They're pretty little trees.
Yeah, they're babies.
All right, thanks, Susan. Bill?
Can everybody hear me?
Yes, sir.
Good. I never know with this computer. The clubhouse is clean and everything. The sales are down about 10% for the year, or for the month, 15 for the year, roughly. The fairways and greens are in excellent condition. The green wars are working well, but the greens are a little slow compared to some of the other courses. So everyone complains about first 4 or 5 holes about how slow the greens are. And then they catch up and then they complain about how fast they are. They've had some irrigation leaks around the course. They've all been repaired and everything. All the fairways and the tee areas are now weed free, I think, according to Greg. A rope was installed across the approach to the 8th green to allow better growth of the grass by keeping the golf carts out. Now, one of my complaints is sitting here at home, the golf carts are sitting, some of them are sitting up on the fringe of the green. And since I'm not allowed to go out there, somebody needs to do something about that. But it won't be me. I understand 2 new signs were installed at holes 1 and 10 to remind golfers of their responsibilities on the course. Two new employees have been hired to help maintain the outside carts, and just additional personnel for the summer. Winter, what are we hearing now? Fall? That's about it.
Thanks, Bill. All right, I think that was it because Gary had tenured and he's not with us today. So, anybody have any comments or further comments on the course reports or suggestions, ideas, or anything? Nope. All right.
Jason,
go ahead, Susan.
have the new people been assigned courses yet?
No,
Okay.
we've kind of just put it in hover mode until we get over this mess.
I think that it's important that we go back and start doing them. I mean, you can
Yep.
either do them
Okay.
on the phone, you can do them remotely, because I feel like we're starting to kind of get out of touch with each individual course.
Okay. Alrighty. I have no problem. If everybody's comfortable with that, I have no problem with that. And then we'll think through how we do. I'm going to put that later in this meeting, or we might just kind of do it via email. Okay. Yeah. All right. That's good. No problem with that at all. Keith, maintenance.
Okay, I'll run through this fairly quickly. The greens aeration at Scottsdale was completed Monday afternoon, and the touch-up work done on Tuesday for the last time this year. We have had some goosegrass issues and some greens and around collars on some of the golf courses. You may have noticed that Rob at Bella Vista Country Club's had someone up on the green, particularly number 2, and removing them. They've made a lot of headway over the previous years. Our pre-emerge program is working. It just takes several years to catch back up. So we'll continue to do that on that golf course and all the other golf courses. We saw our first little issue with greens at Kingswood on a couple of holes that are above the cliff. Numbers 8, 11, 13 had a little bit of disease on them the past week, but Reed's got that back under control. So overall, I would say I would be in agreement with the 2 people that mentioned the golf courses were good. I think all of them, the guys have done a good job. And overall, considering the year, we've had a really good year maintenance-wise on the golf courses up to today. So we will continue to try to keep that pace going forward. I just want to mention real quickly, and we'll talk more about it the next meeting because it's at the end of the month, but the Bentgrass Golf Course aerifications are scheduled for the end of September, the first week in October. So those will be coming up. So watch for that when you decide which golf course you're going to play around those. One thing that was really nice this Friday, one of our members at Bella Vista Country Club is doing a little cookout for the staff over there. They're going to do seating in the backyard and separate it. And it really means a lot to that staff over there. They've worked hard. And so I really wanted to thank them for that. It's kind of a special deal. I would say that we've turned the corner where we normally do this time of year. The fairways are good because it got warm and the roughs are getting too long. So we've kind of changed that conversation from what it was early in the year, which is typical each year. But we're working hard to keep them mowed on a regular basis so that you can find your golf ball and enjoy your round of golf. So that's really my general course condition part of my report. The Kingswood cleanup related to the bike bridge is underway. I don't know, Tammy, did you have that one picture you can pull up on the screen to show the asphalt being repaired today? Whoops. Yeah. Oh, I don't think I gave the one about the asphalt repair. I apologize. The contractor's getting the cart path in between the two holes repaired today. They should be completely out of there and we'll be back to normal, I would think, by the end of next week. So that's where we are on that. The Dogwood farm well is being repaired right now. We transfer water currently from the well at Brittany to that lake on the farm, so it's not an issue to be concerned about. It will be done in a couple of weeks. And then the thing that's up there now is the bridge update on number 2 Scottsdale. We had a pre-construction meeting. All contracts are signed. All permits are in place. The contractor will start work Monday morning, and we're excited about that to get going. He will start on number 2. And it will take about 2 weeks. So these are some pictures of how we decided, instead of the conversation early on about using a chipping area for a hole, this is the nursery green to the left of number 2 fairway. And it is cut the height of the greens. It actually has a collar around it. So we're going to utilize it. And it'll really be convenient because you can put the tee markers in the fairway, and then it's right there close to where the cart path is now, the temporary path to get across to the next hole. So you can show the next picture, kind of gives you an idea what it would look like. That's from a little different angle we could use. It's a little more difficult, a little more tree issues, but we could use that one if we want it. I'll go ahead and show the next one. And then that's straight on, just further back for a little longer a hole. The thing that'll be kind of interesting is the green is triangle shape, more or less, maybe almost square. So it's a little narrower than it is width-wise. So it'll be kind of interesting to hit into it. Obviously, it's not elevated. It's flat. So it's a little harder to hit it and hold it. But it is puttable versus what we would use otherwise. So Daryl and the staff, we feel like this is the best way to handle the temporary closure. They tell me about 2 weeks to get number 2 done. When that is finished, then we'll start working on number 4, which will require us to close the tees in the bathroom for a couple of weeks and put markers in the fairway to play that hole. So 30 to 45 days for completion, weather cooperating is the goal. So hopefully next meeting we'll be able to say that 2 is open and 4 is closed. So that's going to be our goal. That's my report, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that anyone may have.
Anybody have any questions for Keith? That's good to hear that 2 weeks instead of for that one bridge, for number 2 bridge, compared to what we originally thought it was going to be.
Yeah, the good news is right now that creek's as dry as it's ever been, so that makes their work a little quicker and a little easier as well.
Yeah, good deal. Nothing else for Keith? Thanks, Keith. Appreciate you guys and your staff, of course, as always. Golf Ops, Daryl.
All right, good afternoon. I just want to catch up on the numbers real quick. Year to date, we're 8,305 rounds over last year. I've been here 10 years, and this is great to say rounds are up with a third of the tee sheet missing. Kudos to my team, kudos to Keith's team, and kudos to the public and our members for going through this COVID, bearing with us through the trying times. If we have a look at our member rounds, they are up 6,812, and non-member rounds are up 1,493. So pretty excited on the rounds part. Hopefully it carries on going through the end of the year and we can finish 2020 and say rounds were up. One thing I want to point out, I put it in the notes, Tanya Creek practice facility is extremely busy, which is great to see. Our membership are taking advantage of the free range balls with the photo ID or activity card now. I just want people to realize we are on the mats for various reasons. One of the main reasons is it's social distancing. We can keep them apart. That's why we're on the mats. Not because of the grass or anything, but if we're on the grass, they just go wherever they want to hit golf balls and they can't keep the 6 feet apart. So they're on the mats for the social distancing. With that said, we've also had to restrict the number of buckets we give out. We've had some members going up and taking 4 to 5 buckets and going up and hogging a bay for 2 hours. And you got people waiting to try. Remember, we are at half capacity down there. So if our membership can remember that and be fair for everybody, everything's good. Golf operations is also moving all the tee times for September. Shotguns are moving out. We're going to tee times for the month of September. We will carry on doing what we're doing. It is working. And until the governor tells us otherwise, we'll do single ride carts if they choose, carry on as we go in. So tournaments are rocking and rolling. September is going to be a busy month with airification and all the tournaments coming in on Fridays and Saturdays. So bear with us as we get through this stage or through September. Anybody got any questions?
Daryl, David Welch, I do. Okay, can you hear me now, Daryl?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just a couple of quick comments here. One about our rounds being up. That's great. I think that's one of the everybody's wanting to get out and play golf, but this is my opinion. It's nothing else. You know me. You know I don't like shotguns. And it seems like with our playing by tee times, we're getting more people out there. So in the long run, maybe we need to rethink that. I know some of our groups won't like that, but we're doing real well right now. That's just my comment, my opinion. Second thing there is, I understand what you're saying about the people just going wherever they want at Tanyard, and that is where our biggest use of range probably is. But we're playing off grass at Highlands, so why can't we do something to set up some social distancing at Tanyard and get on the grass? A couple of reasons is, one, we're at half. The other is those mats out there are in terrible shape. Hitting balls off those mats is almost like hitting off concrete, only you don't put grooves on or don't wear out the bottom of your club. So I'd like for us to maybe take a step back and take another look at that and say, can we do some on the grass? And I know you guys have thought about it hard, but I've been out there several times, and like you say, it's working, but it's difficult at best.
But David, I want to just reply to your two questions. We've actually had a lot of groups coming up, good leaders saying they're really enjoying these tee times. One, it's not 8 o'clock, showing up at 7 and then getting out there. Pace of play is the big issue too. It's great. So the guys that like to sleep in and get out there at 10:30, they're really enjoying it. So I feel that we're gonna have a lot of people change to tee time. We've always said that tee times you can get more people through the golf course and rock and roll rather than jamming it up like it does in a shotgun with 26 foursomes. So that's a good thing. Moving on to your second question on the mats at Tanya Creek. I agree. It's not the best situation down there. We did put them on the grass with ropes and putting out bag stands, and they just moved them. So what we ended up doing for 3 hours, we ended up just policing the people that were out there. And that's the biggest thing. So at Highlands, Davis, a different deal is we have them out there. We don't get as much traffic. We get about a quarter of the traffic out there. Also at Tanya Creek, we get a lot of new golfers. That's one of our biggest thing that I'm seeing happening at Tanya Creek is we get new golfers that don't possibly understand. You got to stay in your bays. You got to stay 6 feet apart for safety with the club. Where we have it now, it does work. We have changed the mats out, and then at the end of the year, we'll be getting new mats. And hopefully when COVID's finished and we get onto the grass, everything will go back to normal. But I will speak to Hillary to see if there's more of a permanent structure we could possibly put up to control the crowd. That's all we worry about is crowd because of the people come down to try golf, try it out, and then they go play Brittany for free. It's great. It's growing golf. But my concerns are safety first.
I agree with you totally, Daryl. Thanks for at least thinking about it.
Yes, sir. Any questions? Any other questions for me?
You said, Daryl, you said the limiting buckets, and I didn't. So what's kind of the game plan there? Maybe I missed it.
All we do,
I understand, but if you kind of get a little bit deeper in that.
all we do is they come up to the window, show the paper card. We give them a bucket at a time, so they hit that bucket. When they get done, they can come back to stop people taking 4 buckets and camping, just to help out because other people are waiting to hit golf balls. That's all we do. And so we've had a couple members get frustrated with us, but once we explain it, they understand and they move on.
Makes sense. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Were you going to talk about signs? Daryl?
Hey, yes, I'm not done. Sorry,
Daryl? Hey,
yes.
Hey, Daryl. This is Gary. I'm in my car. What's the revenue look like for the golf operations, especially tee time or golfing rounds revenue versus clothing revenue?
Right now, Gary, revenue is up. We've had a good 3 months. I don't have the total. I have the numbers in my office. I'm actually at home on the Zoom call, but it is up the last 3 months. So it's very positive.
And that is with probably lower clothing and equipment sales. Is that true?
Actually, the last 2 months we have hit our clothing and equipment sale budget. It is catching up fast, but yeah, it's been a good 3 months on both sides. So revenue and rounds up, which is first time in a long time. So I'm smiling.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
I'm making Tom smile too, which is good.
Okay. Thanks.
Daryl, I have your numbers right here. Compared to prior year, your revenue for the month of July is up by about $21,000. And compared to budget, now we had budgeted lower because remember, we lowered a lot of the memberships and the green fees. We're better than budget for July by $62,000. So golf is having an outstanding year. Keep up the good work.
Thanks, Tom. That's the team. Team's doing a great job. Alex, everyone's doing a good job. Amy, if you could move on to those slides real quick on the signs, please. All right. There we go. All right. This is the trial we did at Highlands. It's going to come up later, but we're going to put it in here real quick so you can see it. Keith went on and painted the yardage markers a full color where previously we had wood and then about 3 inches of the color, which was hard to see from the tee boxes. We've asked a lot of people, a lot of questions. Jason has asked the committee and everybody likes this. I think it's fantastic. It stands out. One of the things that we want to look at is the yellow, changing it to white with a black stripe to meet USGA regulations. So that's kind of what it looks like right now, but I'm all for it and the team's for it. And I've spoken to a bunch of group leaders and they really like it. The visual is really good, especially on the overcast days where it's hard to see the wood and the color on the wood previously. So great idea from Keith's team. And I think Keith's team, we had a meeting the other day, and we're going to move forward with it depending on what the board says right now, the JAC. The next sign is what you're going to see on the golf course, would be the private property one. Tammy's clicking on that. There we go. So we've got small ones that are out there, little green ones that you can barely see on the golf course that people walk by. These are going to be a little bigger. This is how they're going to look. They're going to stand out. We'll get rid of the old ones that have been around longer than I've been here. So that's what they're going to be. Private property, golf is only dawn to dusk. And that's for safety. that's the biggest thing we see is just safety out there. So that's going to be in the spots where they walk on the golf courses. And then the next one down is just to show everybody what's on number 1 and number 9 tee box. And we've got some great praises from the people on number 1 at Country Club. So all around, we sprucing everything up, making them look good on the golf courses and getting our signs called up to today's time. Thank you, Kim, for the team to help us get that way. And by the end of the year, we'll have everything looking good. Any questions on that?
Correction, Daryl, real quick. That was 1 and 10 tee boxes, not 1 and 9, right?
1 and 10, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. 9's when you order your drink to the clubhouse. No, that might be 8. Yeah, 1 and 10. No, that's great stuff. That's good.
And I appreciate everybody for helping me. Kim, your team's great. Thank you. I'm done.
Anything for Daryl before we move on to Alex and tournaments? Nope. Thank you, Daryl. Mr. Sanford.
All righty. Thank you, sir. So since our last meeting, we've had several events. Our tournament calendar is in full force right now. A couple of weeks ago, we had our Folds of Honor tournament at the Highlands. Had 19 teams participating in that one. Had a beautiful day. Course was great. Everyone seemed to have a great time. Raised a lot of good money for that charity. So it went really well. This past Saturday, we had the Parent-Child Championship at Brittany. We actually had to postpone it. We had a very poorly timed rainstorm right as we were trying to start our tee times, and it lasted pretty well the whole morning. So we had to just call it a complete wash. We're going to get that one back on the calendar. I'm looking at a couple of dates in September and October to get that back out. All the parents really wanted to have that event, and I had a nice little team. So looking to get that one back on. This weekend is the Men's Club Championship and the Senior Men's Club Championship at the Country Club. We've got a nice field going. I've been getting sign-ups fast and furious and just trying to keep up with them right now. But it looks like we're going to have a good event. Got quite a few for both of the championship flights. Should be really competitive. Got, a good number in each one of my 6 flights for this event. So looking pretty good. And next week, 1 week from this Saturday, is the Alzheimer's Classic. Signups have just now started to get going pretty well, so we expect that one to really ramp up. Looking for some more whole sponsors and things of that nature and more players for that one at the moment. But things are looking up. Tournament season's going very well. Like Daryl said, the courses are very busy, and our tournament programs are showing that. So everything's going well. Any questions
Alex,
about any events upcoming?
Real quick, Parent-Child is a great idea. What was the sign up on that? Was that pretty good, or could you use more teams since it was postponed? Now we have a little more time.
I expect to get a few more since pretty well all the parents that were planning on playing in the first one, I believe, will play in the second one, and I should get a couple more. I had 15 kids playing in the original, which for a first year event, I wasn't too unhappy with. Thought that was pretty good.
No, that's great.
Hopefully I can get up to 20, and that was just all for the kids. Looking forward to get that going.
Yeah, great deal. Anybody else? Any questions for Mr. Alex? Alex, we appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Moving on, Tom got some JAC committee orientation notes to go over. The floor is yours, sir.
Well, let me give you a little bit of data to begin with. As of the end of July, activity card sales are in excess of 11,000. This compares to 8,000 last year. So we're up 36% on activity card sales. Boat registrations are up 800, which is a 15% increase. And guest passes are up 2,000 from 3,000 to 5,000. So considerably increase in activity cards. We're very happy about that. It'll be interesting to determine, how we do next year, whether COVID is encouraging that number of activity card sales or discouraging, and we would do even more. It's impossible to know. Moving on. So once a year, I take a few minutes of your time to go over committees and how they function and how they work. This is for our new committee members and our returning committee members, just to make sure that everybody is on the same page. Tammy sent out the information to everybody, and she's going to pull up. Oh, she just did. So we're going to start on the operation. So, you have to be a member to be on the committee, of course. And you have officers. You have the chair, the vice chair, the secretary, which are elected by the committee. And then you have the board liaisons, the liaisons for the board and the staff. And then, I think the important key here is advisory committees. These are advisory committees. They do not have authority in and of themselves. The board has the ultimate authority. And so we always just want to make sure, we always want to remind the committees, we absolutely value your input, but we want to make sure that you understand that your advisory and your recommendations are considered very closely. And in most cases, they're followed, but not in every case. So I think that's important. Also, as a goodwill advisor, what we ask that you do is not only represent yourself on the committee, but also represent your golfing friends, your neighbors, fellow members. Make sure you represent all those people and so forth. So Tammy, moving on to the next one, which is meetings. As a whole, the meetings are conducted in an appropriate manner, which is surprising given you're a chairperson. That was a dig. All the committees are done in an orderly manner and following our policies, and we very much appreciate that. That's the way they should be done. They should be done in a business-like manner. And if you want more information, please read through this section. We're going to move on to policy 1.01, and we're going to go to page 2 of 1.01. And I think the first thing on there is very top is that the committee meetings will be announced well in advance. You don't want to have any surprise meetings. You want to make sure that the membership is aware of these. And second of all, that not only are the meetings open to the membership, but we keep the minutes. And you can go onto our website and you can go back a few years and you can see the agendas, the minutes, and the videos for the committee meetings. If you are interested in looking at board information, you can go back 4 or 5 years worth of information. If you want financial information, we have audited financials dating back all the way to 2006 on our website. So we try and provide our membership with a wealth of information at your disposal. Moving down to item number 5, documents. What I'm going to bring to your attention on that one is the very first one is any document distributed at an open meeting of the board or of a committee shall be deemed an open document and therefore available to the membership. So if there's any documentation that is brought forth, I know that Daryl does reporting and provides those documents to the committee. He also needs to always be prepared to provide that information to the membership. If there is a subcommittee that meets and they put together information and distribute a document at a meeting, they have to share that information with the membership. Just wanted to make sure everybody was aware of that. All right, Tammy, we're going to move on to policy 1.03. Okay, so we have governing documents, and it's always important to understand how the committees are actually formed. They're structured in a very specific way. So policy 1.03, what that talks about is all of our committees. So we have an election committee, operational committees, ad hoc committees, and then joint advisory committees. So those are part of the committees, and you can read in policy 1.03 the actual structure of our committees. In the next one, in policy 1.04, we narrow down even further and we talk specifically about joint advisory committees. Let me read just one or two quotes. Under Joint Advisory Committee duties, it is the duty of each committee to discuss, analyze, and propose solutions for problems and opportunities within its area of concern, and make recommendations to management and to the board. So a couple different things. That's a very important sentence, and I want to point out a couple different things. First of all, it talks about recommendations. We talked about that we are a joint advisory committee, so you're issuing recommendations. The second thing it talks about is within its area of concern. We always want to make sure that I call it, make sure you stay in your lane. The golf committee shouldn't be talking about boat registrations, even though I reported on that earlier, but they shouldn't, the golf committee shouldn't be talking about the park restrooms at Loch Lomond. They should be talking about golf course restrooms and so forth. So make sure you stay in your lane. We value your input, but this committee is all about golf. Next thing I'd like to read is the Joint Advisory Committees also serve as a sounding board for members to express their concerns and suggestions, some of which may result in studies and recommendations. So as I referenced earlier, these aren't just your opinions, but they're the opinions of your golfing friends, your neighbors, your fellow members. The number of committee members, we actually let the golf chairperson determine that. The recommendation is between 7 and 9. We feel that is a reasonable number. And then appointments. Normally, you're appointed for a 3-year term. Sometimes when you're appointed, it may be for a 2-year term because you're filling in for someone, or maybe it's a 1-year term. On to item 6, you'll see that committee members should be limited to serving no more than 2 consecutive terms, provided they are not filling in for someone. So if you get elected to the committee, you can serve a 3-year term followed by another 3-year term, then you have to come off. If you're filling in for someone, maybe you serve 1 year, then you get named and you serve a 3-year term, and then you can serve another 3-year term. You could serve a total of 7 years in that particular situation. Under liaisons, we mentioned this earlier, where there's multiple liaisons. There's board liaisons. So the board is a conduit for transferring information from the board to the committee and for getting information from the committee to the board. And they do a very good job of that. Staff does a similar thing. Committee operations. Each committee shall meet on a monthly basis. We do give you some flexibility. Often committees will not have a meeting maybe during the winter time between November and December because of the holidays. And that's totally acceptable, but we don't want to have a situation where you haven't met in 4 or 5 months. That would be unacceptable. And orientation, each year we do an orientation, which we're doing right now to make sure everybody is on the same page. And that's all I wanted to say. It's kind of a whirlwind tour. Tammy has sent all this information out. I'd ask that you take just a few minutes of your time and read through all of this so you can be fully educated on your role as a committee member. Any questions before I turn it over back to Jason? Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Tom. And one of the things, and I am very guilty, as Keith and Daryl and especially Tammy knows, and Tom, thank you, Kim, is I need to get better. We need to make sure that we have agendas a week out. So that includes course reports. So as we get back into course reports, and like I said, I'm the first one to say I'm guilty, and I'm going to strive to get better. But let's make sure we get those reports to Tammy and the committee prior to the day of the meeting or the week of the meeting. If it's Friday prior to our meeting, but especially with the Zoom and everything that goes on, I know she has to do some condensing, some file changing, and Lakes is right before us. So things that get dumped at the last minute going forward might not get on the screen. So let's just, as a committee, let's be the winners in that and make sure we get everything a week out prior to. And like I said, I'm guilty as charged, and I'll try to be better as well. I know, Susan, you're very good about getting the minutes. You're probably one of the better secretaries in getting the minutes on as other committees, so we do appreciate that. And if you got to kick me every once in a while, feel free to do so to make sure I'm doing the agendas on time. All right. With that being said, board liaisons, Jan, David. No? Everybody's good? Perfect. We didn't have any, for the public comments, we didn't have any emails this month. So moving right along to old business, and we're going to go back to the yardage markers that we spoke about. Daryl showed us the test pictures of. I think, as we've all discussed, I think we all like them. I think the question I think the biggest question has been white. And, Daryl, we kind of spoke about that a little bit and found out because of the out of bounds being white, but we got the black stripe going on those instead of just being solid white, so you can differentiate between out of bounds and the yardage markers. So I would think that we need to take a vote, see if there's any discussion, make a motion on doing this or presenting it. Do we need to present this, Thomas? Is he still on here? Is this present on the capital expenditure, or is this just to present to the board as a separate thing? The yardage markers.
The yardage markers does not have to go to the board of directors. If the committee and staff are in agreement, then that's the extent of.
Okay. All right. So
Jason?
anybody? Yes, go ahead, Sheila.
This is Sheila. Does this mean that we're going to change the gold to white with the black stripe to distinguish it from out of bounds markers, correct?
Correct.
Does that mean that we will be adding gold 250 yard markers on any hole?
No, we're not going to add any more. That's been brought up a couple times, but not by a lot of people. And everybody else, please jump in that have talked to their groups and things. We're just going to go with the red, white, and blue for 200, 150, and 100 like we've had.
Okay. Just curious.
Yeah, that's fine.
I want to jump in on that real quick, Sheila, I spoke to a lot of golfers, and when you are 250 out, you're going to hit a 3-wood no matter what, how far you can hit it. So it really dialing it in is not necessary. So to put new markers in, it will save Keith's crew. We have what we have. It's just change it to white is what I got from a lot of the group leaders.
Unless you're David Brandenburg, then you hit a 7-iron.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, Sheila. David didn't hear me, did you? You hit a 7-iron at 250. So let's make a motion or any additional discussion on that. And if not, let's make a motion. And did I freeze? My internet connection's a little unstable. Let's make a motion and get this passed. I think it's the right thing to do for our members.
I move that we adopt changing the yardage markers to solid colors, white and blue.
Thanks, Jeff.
I second.
Is that Sheila?
Yep.
Okay. Any additional comments, discussion? Phil, you're muted, buddy. Hey, Phil, you're muted. I know it's what D likes to hear, but are you going to talk, Phil? No?
Hang on a minute.
There you are. All right. Yeah, there you go.
That's the only time I'm quiet around here. How wide will the black mark be on the white post? 2 inches?
No, about 4 inches.
Okay.
4 to 6 inches. I will have the specs depending on the size of the stakes, and Keith and the guys will had a meeting this week on how tall we're going to make them. So we will have the dimensions and we'll have it consistent through the whole village, or not village, the city.
Good.
Yep.
Thank you.
Are there going to be new stakes, or just repaint the old ones?
We'll actually put in new because the old ones have the engraved or indented at the top.
Right.
So this will be a winter project and be out early next year.
Thank you for that too. Yeah, good question, Gary, and thanks, Keith, for that was something we needed to definitely mention the when that project's going to start. It's going to be a winter project, correct? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So we've got the motion, we've got a second. Any further discussion? And since Gary's here, he has his own vote. I do not have his proxy anymore. So all in favor of the yardage marker change?
Yes.
Aye.
Spencer here.
Any nays? All right. Keith's team will get to work on changing our yardage markers in the wintertime, and when we come out to spring, we'll be red, white, and blue. The second topic that we need to vote on is, so we can get it to the board this month, is our budget recommendations. And Susan sent that out to everybody. I'll just read 1 through 5 real quick, and then if there's any further, I mean, we've I don't want to say beat this up, but we've talked about it quite a bit. But number 1 being expanding red tee boxes. There's the second one being the purchase of a root cutting machine. Third one being spot repair on the cart paths. Fourth being bathroom airflow and flooring. And the 5th one is reworking the gold tee boxes. Is there any further comments, discussion we want to have on these particular recommendations that we're going to be sending to the board after our meeting this month?
Just a comment for Tom and the board, since we're 60,000 over budget, that means we'll probably get some money for capital improvements, right, Tom? Tom, leave.
Not the end of the year yet.
Tom's mute button was stuck on that one, I think. Any other discussion on our 5 proposed? It's actually 2021, Susan. I just saw that.
I move that we adopt the recommendations as read.
Who was that?
Jeff Hendren.
Okay.
Me.
Second.
Second.
Who was that?
Gary, was that
Sorry.
you second?
Is that
That was
Gary?
Gary.
Any further discussions? So let's go to vote on our 2021 capital budget recommendations to the board 1 through 5. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? All right. So we will get that formally in front of the board. That's all of our old business. One thing for new business that I wanted to bring up, and I appreciate everybody adjusting to 4 o'clock. That's when they were supposed to be. I made a huge mistake when we went from winter hours to summer hours, and for some reason thought they were 4:30. Would anybody be opposed for September and October being at 4 o'clock? We usually switch over to the mornings in November. Would anybody be opposed to switching from 4:30 to 4 o'clock for our last 2 summertime meetings? No? That work okay? Mike, does that work okay for you? Okay.
Good with me.
All right. So let's go ahead and for our next 2 meetings for the summer, and then we'll go to I'm going to check the time before we vote on it. I think it was 8:30 is what we normally go to in the wintertime. That would be awesome. Okay, cool. Is there anything else that anybody wants to bring up? That anybody wants to talk about? No. Our next, hey, look either I can change the time to 4 o'clock. Our next meeting is September 9th. Hopefully we'll be face to face, but if not, we'll be back here on Zoom and it will be 4 o'clock. Anything else?
Jason.
Yeah.
Your time in November is 8:30, your time, and I'll change it back to the website to be in 4 o'clock
Thank you.
instead of 4:30.
Thank you. Yeah, so we'll vote in November or in October to go back to 8:30. You know me. People that know me know I won't go earlier than that because I'm not a morning person. No comment from the gallery. All right, everybody. Thank you. I guess that's it. If there's nothing else, we will adjourn. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
everybody.